Does anyone still believe in paradise?
Bass guitarist by heart and an original member of the legendary Tony group, Elijah Baker is an interesting man. He's sitting here today in the Jenleeion circle for us to talk about the ups and downs in his life and to more focus on the inspiration that he has become as of late. First, I'll say, Elijah, thank you for deciding to sit down with me in the Jenleeion circle. I'm looking forward to talking to you this afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. It's a pleasure being here.
First of all, I guess I'd like to say, what are you up to now?
I'm designing my clothes, Ambitious Records. I'm designing my sunglasses, EB3 eyewear. I'm still doing music, but you know, I invest a lot of money in music, and the way the music business changed, it's kind of hard to make a profit these days due to streaming.
Understood. So let's go all the way back to the beginning, right? Because I think if people have not seen the documentary, they don't really know the unsung story that's happening behind Tony, right?
Right.
When you guys first started, there was a vow that you guys would never split up, right?
Definitely.
But unfortunately, circumstances caused you guys to split up, right?
Right.
Take us to some of the moments of the split up, and then I'd like to know at this point how you've reconciled with it.
Would you like for me to start from the genesis?
Yes.
Well, you know, after all of us graduated Castlemont High School in East Oakland, we all had separate bands, and then we merged in 1987. We did free shows, free gigs to pay for equipment, all for that common goal to make it in the business. And we finally got an opportunity with some local producers, Tommy and Denny. They seemed fit for Raphael and Tim Dwayne, and they signed them to a production deal after we did a showcase. And from that point on, we was out seeing the world, immediately successful, you know, #1 hit out the gate, and touring 2 years straight. And from that point on, you know, we was just young and not knowing anything about the business, just enjoying, you know, teenage, young life. And from that point on, we just thought everything was going to be great.
Yeah.
So by that time, the record company seen the value in all 6 members. So in 1989, they signed all 6 members to the record company. But the group was still thinking that it was just the 3 of them because they was getting most of the publicity as far as photo shoots and interviews. So
and let's pause right there, right? There's 6 groups. We got the name Tony. Where did the name come from? And then did you guys ever have any confusion as to why there were 3 faces instead of the 6?
Well, it started off at 3. They did a wedding reception and they didn't have no name. And Dwayne, he made that name up because it was just 3 members, along with Carl playing the keys. But at that time, before they got the other 3, they was trying to do a group like the Police. So they wanted to be a black version of the Police. And that's how they came up with that 3-man concept. But the record company didn't enjoy that thing until they seen the whole 6 members come together and knew we was all a band set up. Like the Tonys, not the OJs, you know.
Yeah.
They can't perform by themselves. So Raphael's the lead singer, Dwayne the guitar player, and the other 3rd member, Tim, he's the drummer. So he's in the back. I'm the bass player. I'm in the front with Ray, Tim, and Dwayne. So visually on the stage, you would put me as a primary. But really, there was no primary because all 6 of us was a band.
And that's the way it was. That's the way you saw it. That's the way it was supposed to be seen. But at some point, there was a bridge created. And I go to an experience of when you all are in a limousine, right? You're headed out to a venue and there's huge stars there, right? And I go to this because this was the big moment where you could clearly tell that a decision had been made, right? Take the audience to that experience. I mean, we've got big stars, MC Light, anyone is at this huge event.
LL Cool J, like you name it, they was there. We pull up in a limousine and Entertainment Tonight, all the big media outlets at this time was there. So we're getting ready to get out the limousine. So the three got out the limousine, the bodyguard, and when I got ready to step out the door, they said, "No, hold on, you wait a minute," and they closed the door on us. While a lot of camera action was going on.
So 3 members have gotten out of the car, and right when the other 3 are going to get out, the door closes.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, a lot of cameras, photo shoots going on, pictures, and we just sitting there like puzzled, like, why we ain't out here, why we ain't out there. But we just sit there patiently waiting, just okay, till the fanfare just walked away, and we just still sit there. Nobody came and got us, nobody said anything. And then the limo driver drove up the block about, maybe a quarter mile, like, hey, y'all gotta get out. And so we walked back to where the party was, and it was a gold plaque celebration. And we just walked back to the gig mad. And
whose decision was it? Do you know at this point whose decision it was to rob you guys of that of dignity like that?
I still don't know who made that call, but I'm so disappointed in the 3 because no one said anything. And I'm gonna give them a little credit because on the first album, they was the only 3 signed to the production deal. So they was the principals at the time, and they kept that same mentality, although all 6 of them were signed to the second album. But I don't know who made that call right there, because clearly if you go look back on the Revival album, it says Tony is Raphael Wiggins, Dwayne Wiggins, Timothy Riley, Elijah Baker, Carl Wheeler, and Antron Hale.
And in fact, the dissension continued after that. At some point, we had 2 situations where there are two pairs of people in the group that are related to one another.
Right.
And in the documentary, you guys call it being fired, right?
Yes.
Take me there, because we're building up to a specific point. Take me there in terms of the group falling apart to the degree that you really see that, oh my God, it's really these 3 guys, and we're being X'd out.
Well, Antron, he was the youngest member of the group. He started doing a lot of outside production. He's like the first person who owned a studio in the group. So he was doing outside work. He had a meeting with a big record company, and they started telling him some things he didn't know about points and songwriter credit, publishing, that nobody even cared to explain to us. So Antron came back at that point and started enlightening me and Carl. And that's when, after the limo, we start seeing things different. Like, hey, man, and wow, then you start seeing the other 3 buy jewelry,
large
cars,
houses,
and we wasn't buying none. We was like, where does money coming from, and where is ours? And that's where it became the boiling point. So as I was on my way to rehearsal, I got to rehearsal, Raphael and Tim, I don't know who else was sitting on stage, but as I walked through the door, it was real tense, it was real eerie feeling. So I walked in, and Raphael said, hey man, we decided to, fire you and Antron. And I was like, all right, cool.
Not even a sugar-coated word like we decided to let you guys go.
No,
we don't need your services anymore.
It was short. They had a hard time, so they didn't know how I was going to take it. But I'm not no kiss ass, so I was like, whatever. And then I didn't like being there. I'm not a person who's driven by money. I'm a person who's driven by energy, and I'm not going to do anything for money. So I feel that if these my close cousins and y'all going to treat me like this, I don't want to be around you. If this is what it's going to change you to.
Wow.
So I gracefully walked out the door and just figured it out.
And some of the group members took it extremely hard, right?
Yes, Antron Hale definitely took it the hardest.
And I think from being a church boy, right, descending into things that wouldn't have happened before. And so going to that point, right, it's interesting that at some point Raphael also was not a part of the group, right? Even though he had to speak the firing at some point. This is interesting to me because although you were the bass guitarist and you were helping paint these incredible musical moments on stage, you hadn't actually played on any of the records.
Right.
But to get to play on a Tony record came at with the creation of "Lay Your Head on My Pillow" with Alicia Keys' Diary,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Take me to the moment of working with her. What was that like, and actually saying, "Okay, well, finally, I'm going to be on a Tony record." Tony record.
You know what? I was producing so much on my own. It wasn't no big moment for me. It was just like another session.
Wow.
I was happy to meet her, but it wasn't like no real big deal. It wasn't no big deal even record with them because I always played on the stage and helped produce some songs, helped write some songs, but I didn't look at it like, ooh, this is my moment. You know?
Well, the crux of it is, what was the chemistry like at that point? Between the group, obviously there had been splits and sort of musical chairs, but who's going to be where? What was the chemistry like at that point?
Are you talking about the time we was performing Alicia Keys?
Yes, at the time because it was interesting that Raphael wasn't a part of it. What was the chemistry like at that point?
Oh well, the group was a revolving door for me. Like I get in a couple years, get out a couple years because Dwayne ran the group and he ran it kind of loosely. He didn't run it tight knit and he didn't keep the image up. He didn't keep the sound up. He didn't keep the quality and the image and the legacy up. He just let it just go. He's like a free fall type of guy. He just like a whatever type of dude. So he just like to have fun. And Raphael and myself take it real serious. And it was just blah.
Yeah. So you've been quoted as saying that you feel like you guys didn't get your just due, right? Even in terms of royalties or the work that you put in to Tony, right?
Correct.
Have you reconciled yourself with that, or do you still have that passion of, at least, I think you said before you die, right? You at least wanted to have attempted to have gotten what was rightfully you guys. Where are you with that?
We're in a lawsuit right now, the 3 against the 3. So we presently in a lawsuit with Tony.
And how long? Obviously, you can't disclose a lot of legalistic information, but at least how long has this lawsuit been alive?
Since 2020. Pandemic set everything back, but since 2020 we started on it.
And at the very least, is it, again, I'm being respectful to the fact that you cannot go too far into what's happening legally, but can you at least speak to the fact of whether it's a very cantankerous fight right now? Has it gotten ugly?
It's really embarrassing, I'm really shameful that I even have to go through this, knowing that I'm not trying to take anything more than I deserve.
Exactly.
And I just want what's rightfully mine, and they still fighting me knowingly. They owe me some money. So it's pretty embarrassing. I'm kind of torn. Like, I don't even think I should have done it, but for my kids' sake,
yes.
I'm going all the way with it.
Yeah, I have 4 kids, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I totally understand that.
Yeah.
How many kids are you fighting for?
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Antron got more than me. Carl have more than me, So, yeah, we got this 5 kids, man. This ain't for me no more.
Is the 3 against the 3, is this just a business fight, or is friendship over?
Presently, friendship is over, but I don't think friendship over if we sat in one room. We still family, and we still love each other's family, and we still love each other. We just ain't sat in the same room and even talked about it.
Do you, in your mind, right, and this might be, do you have wishful thinking that there will be a settlement, or do you believe that there will be a settlement?
At one point I was angry, and I was like, I never ever F them. I would never do nothing with them. It's over. They don't care about my kids. But then I know they don't have the money that they owe me. As a grown man at 54 years, I'm more mature. I think differently. Yeah. Business-wise, it would make most sense for us to get back together. Whether we talk, we ain't got to kick it. You know what I'm saying? We can go on stage for that hour and a half and make that $100,000 a night and split it equally or fairly.
Yeah.
And for about 5 years, about 6 months on, 6 months off, that'll compensate everybody. There ain't nobody got to adjust their life, with this fight. But I just don't think they want to see us with no money.
Yeah. In fact, during your hiatus from the group, what have you, I guess in the mid-2000s, you took a parlay into real estate, right?
Right.
and that obviously kept you fed for a while.
Correct.
Are you back in real estate?
Real estate tricky, man. I'm really into my clothing line. Now, like I said, I have my own record company, Ambitious Records, and I make my own sunglasses, custom made EB3. So I'm really just into self-employment, self-entrepreneurship.
And I think that's excellent. When did the self-entrepreneurship, when did that switch come for you?
Well, it was always, because, you know, you consider an independent contractor as a musician. So I've been doing it since 1991. You know,
and is that how you saw yourself? As an independent contractor to the group? Or did you see yourself as an effective member?
Effective member. But I'm saying that when I went outside doing production for other groups.
I see.
Yeah. And, you know, you get your check and you got to make it stretch because they give you big lump sums at a time, you know, advances and the back end when you're done. So
at this point, with the record company that you started, right? How long has that been in existence?
Since 2017.
And have you rostered anyone?
Yes, I rostered myself, Elijah Baker. I had a group I did with everybody, Mario Corbino, Silky, you know, a collaboration called Park Avenue. Doing something with the other members of the group, Amar Khalil, John Jubal Smith. Amar was the guy who filled in for Raphael for 20 years.
Yeah.
Jubal Smith, he came on the Revival album all the way until he's all part of all the signature guitar lines. And Trahell, myself, Carl Wheeler. We got this group called 3TOB that we're working on. That's 3T, Tony Original Band. That's what that stands for.
Amar was let go in 2018 from filling in for Raphael, right?
From 1998 to 2018, yes.
Was that an ego move by Dwayne?
Always.
In your opinion?
Always. Amar was always underpaid. Dwayne never even put him in the studio for the whole 20 years in his group. It was me guessing, it was almost like he didn't want him to have no type of leverage. Like in 20 years, 2020 was supposed to put out another record with or without Raphael.
What happened to Raphael during the 20 years?
Raphael been doing his own solo projects. Raphael been producing, he's scoring. Raphael's doing great for himself.
Wow. Yeah, obviously, it's some of that we know, but I mean, from a personal perspective, has he kept in touch with any of the guys, or as much as you know, or has he literally become a phantom from the group?
Well, last time I talked to Raphael is when the documentary first came out. Like, I actually sent the documentary to Dwayne, Tim, and Raphael before it came out. Just to see and get the perspective of it before I put out, like, we can need to talk about it or something.
Right.
And they never said nothing. So they got angry about it, but it's our truth. So
before this lawsuit happened, right? You guys were still looking for apologies, or have you guys let go of the wish for an apology from them?
You know, at this point, I can care less. But I mean, for our family's sake, I wish they'd be men enough and just apologize. It will feel good. It really would.
So you've got the documentary, you've got the work that you're doing. What is the biggest thing that you hope people get to know about Elijah Baker? Who are you?
Not a quitter. I'm ambitious. That's why I named my record company that. I felt that I've been stepped on, choked out, kicked, and I'm resilient. Yeah.
And lastly, I'd like to talk about even to the degree where you felt like you've made your own mistakes, right, and had to learn from them.
Yes.
In the situation where at some point you did 57 months for white collar issues, white collar crime, right? Yes. Being in the penitentiary for the time that you were, what sort of life reset was that for you?
It was probably the best reset of my life. Because before that, I was just still chasing, not having no direction. I wasn't even reading, I wasn't even studying, I wasn't even paying attention to what was really going on. So when you get isolated and get a chance to see who's who and you by yourself, and you just get a whole new perspective of life. So you like, I'm in it by myself. It leaves certain type of traumas on you. I'm a super loner now. I like sleeping by myself. I have, I've been married. I'm divorced now, but it was even hard for me to even get comfortable back sleeping in the bed with my wife. It just leave you in this little bed for all these years, and it leaves certain type of traumas to you. But other than that, I still think I came out unscathed.
Fantastic, and learning from your own mistakes. Well, thank you, sir. I want to thank you for being so raw and so honest, and thank you for releasing the documentary, because it really does give individuals perspective on not just Tony, but it tells you about the trials and tribulations that can happen in the music industry to show that people are just being people.
Yes.
And it still can bring out the best or the ugliest of us in that situation. And that's what I learned. It was a teaching tool for me. Elijah Baker is gracing the cover of Jenleeion magazine, so please check out the pictures. They're quite stunning. And with that being said, tell everyone where they can follow you, Elijah. Elijah_EB_Baker on Instagram.
Same for Facebook, same for Twitter.
Thank you so much. And is anyone still calling you Elishay?
Yeah. That's gonna be the name of my suit line. That's gonna be the name of my cologne. So yeah, Elishay gonna live forever.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Does anyone still believe in paradise? Or is it only me? Do you believe so follow me?